I'm Chris Ensing. Thanks for joining us. We start tonight with an emotional scene at Queen's Park following an announcement about autism services.
He pretty much extended this whole thing for another whole extra year. We already been waiting for 18 months for our families, and we're in crisis. We're desperate for help from this government, and they're giving us nothing. This is garbage. This is a very sour Christmas for our families.
The province announced yet another delay for parents waiting for autism treatment for their children. A needs-based program was originally promised to be up and running by April 2020, but now that's been pushed back to 2021. Parents were at this announcement today, and you can see they are wiping away tears from their face. Some of them were holding pictures of their children. They say the interim funding that the government is promising just isn't enough. I'm joined live in studio by CBC's Sanjay Maru. Sanjay, what's the parents in Windsor here? What are they thinking about with what this has to do?
Well, Chris, I had a chance to speak with Sherry Taylor today. She sat on the province's Autism Advisory Panel, a group tasked with recommending changes to the province's autism program. Now, she says there are some changes here she's happy with, mainly the inclusion of mental health services in the autism program. But her biggest gripe is this continued waiting game. As you mentioned, Chris, that promised needs-based program may not come into effect until 2021. Until then, families will get funding of either $5,000 or $20,000, depending on their child's age. That was the max amounts they were eligible for under the now canceled autism program from earlier this year. And for Taylor, it's this one-time funding which she takes issue with most.
It's not equity-based. It's not the same amount for every person that's on that list. And then just the timing. It's just the timing. It really, there's no concrete answers of when this will actually take place. And so when you're told another number of months, then, families are they're in crisis now. They need help now. So when you don't have a definite, this is going to take place by April 2020 or May 2020, to have that open-ended time frame, I understand why they're doing it, because it's not an easy task ahead of the ministry and the implementation committee. But at the same time, it just leaves parents in the same space that they were yesterday.
And we also spoke with Noah Gascon. He's currently in high school and falls within the autism spectrum. Gascon took to Twitter this afternoon, calling the province's announcement, quote, pathetic. And he says this is just another example of the Ford government delaying necessary changes that should be accessible by everyone. As for this delay, he says just 1 year can feel like a lifetime for people with developmental disabilities.
I was lucky enough years ago to get help for these for this kind of disability. And I wouldn't be sitting here doing this interview today if I didn't get that help. And it's just so unfortunate that people cannot get this help today because of the cuts that are being made and because of the changes that are being made, and that there's so much delay.
And we also heard from MPP Lisa Gretzky today, who says the government has done a lot of damage and has thrown families under the bus. She adds she's already received calls from constituents who say they're devastated by yet another delay. She says she's holding out hope that with enough pressure, the Conservatives will do the right thing and implement these changes right now. Chris.
Something we'll be following as the story continues. Thanks, Sanjay.